It's always the agent's fault. No matter what, it's always the agent's fault, except for these things. We'll talk about that. So stand by, stay tuned. Today we're talking about Willow Glen, home of the week, the luxury home of the week, and what's going on in the Bay Area as far as numbers. Let's get moving. Okay, so I just got back from 2 weeks of glorious sun, sailing, surf, sand, copious amounts of alcohol, which is something I don't normally do. So it's one of those things. I had such a good time. If you want to know about it, text me, call me. I'm happy to tell you and show you. I'll send some pictures out on Facebook, etc. But here we go. All right, Willow Glen, home of the week. This is Willow Oaks Drive, not my listing. 2 days on market, 3-bedroom, 2.5 baths, 2,500 square feet, and it's standard ranch house, 2,500 square feet, $2.4 million. It's crazy, right? Beautiful. Look at that. Gorgeous. Oh, I love that window, that door. But then your view to your door is a garage. So I don't know about that, but that's how it was back in the 50s and 60s. Nice. All right. Luxury home of the week, 275 Camino El Lago, 7 bedrooms, 8 full baths, 2 half baths, 1,333 square feet on 1.35 acres. Not my listing. I wish it was. I would just love, look at this. It's like the Winchester Mystery House. It's the third the size of the Winchester Mystery House. Yeah, let's see. 3 whole pictures. That's all you get. 3 pictures. That makes sense. There you go. Beautiful. And there's some other ones to look at too that are just now popping on. These are all pretty new. So we'll go through them in the next couple of weeks. Download your free home buyer checklist right here. It gives you, as you're going through open houses, you're looking at different houses, it gives you room by room what to look out for, things that you like, things that you don't like, things that need work. And that way, when you go to 4, 5, 6 houses, you keep notes on each individual one, and it's nice to have. So download it right here. Links in the blog right here. And let's use that for last. No, I'm going to do it now. I told you, and now your home isn't selling. Sounds like perfect for Mother's Day. Most houses stay on market less than 15 days here in the Santa Clara County. And it's a normal thing, right? Let me open this up. And when you're looking at houses as a buyer, you still have some kind of control, because if the house smells like dog, like my house, or is completely junky, like my house, or it has a massive list of repairs, then you have to go back and deal with that. And when you're comparing it, go back to that buyer's checklist that we just talked about, you can compare apples to apples and oranges to oranges and bananas to bananas. If you're looking at the kitchen and house A has a brand new kitchen, the dust is still settling and it's perfect condition and everything works just right. And then the second house you go to has a house that's been around for about, or a new kitchen that's been around for about 5 years. So there's a couple things in it, but everything still works, right? So you can compare those, right? And then you have a house that was built in 1950 and in 1980 they redid the kitchen, or even in the 90s they redid the kitchen. You say that's a new kitchen. That's not a new kitchen, because in the 90s, that was 30 years ago. Your kitchen is 30 years old. So you can't compare a 30-year-old kitchen to a house that has a 5-year-old kitchen or a brand new kitchen. And you can't do that. So when you're looking at houses, you can't overprice it. The buyers know what they're looking at. And if they look at that house that has a 30-year-old kitchen or an original kitchen versus a brand new kitchen, they know that's a $60,000, $70,000 difference in value. Same thing with bathrooms, same thing with floors, same thing with walls, same thing with the pool. How old is the pool? What condition is the pool in? What about the roof? All these different little things, it all boils down to how you price the house. So if you come to me and say your house is worth $1.6 million and it's really worth 1.3 and we list it at 1.5, guess what it's going to do? It's going to sit on the market for a really long time. And then you're going to blame me, the agent. Even though I recommended that we listed around 1.25 to bring in some people to look at your house and tell you what the house is really worth, because you as a seller cannot determine what a buyer is willing to pay for it. You can go on basics on what they say, but then you have to look at the nitty gritty inside the kitchen and the bathroom and the floors and every little component and then make a judgment call. But it's easier if you list it low and wait for buyers to come and determine how much your house is worth. If you come and tell me your house is worth $2.6 million and it's really worth two, you're going to be painfully disappointed. And that's just how things go. It also lends itself to how you position yourself. Remember, we talk about pricing, position, promotion, all this thing about marketing, right? And if you've got too much stuff, too much junk, like in my house right here, I'm not settling my house up to sell. So I don't care what it looks like, other than it looks a little dark today. I don't know why camera's showing dark. But anyway, if you have a lot of clutter everywhere, it's going to look too busy. It'll be confusing. The less stuff you have, the better. And if your house looks old and dated because of the paint, and I don't care if you painted 5 years ago or 30 years ago, I just drove by a house on Meridian yesterday, and the paint was peeling and it looked completely chalky. And there's no way that house would ever sell for what it's worth because of a $2,000, $3,000 paint job. So paint your house. Don't be cheap. Don't cheap out on these things. I'm telling you, I see it a lot. When you cheap out, it shows. If you don't do the little steps that we recommend, like staging, you're going to be painfully disappointed in your results. Just what it is. It's a cost of doing business. And in this market, our market, buyers expect to see a house that's staged. That's the fifth thing, by the way, simply because they want to be able to imagine things. And if you cheap out and you have empty rooms, or you have a room with dated furniture on it or smelly furniture because you have dogs, I can tell you straight up, I just got back from a sailing trip. And when I came in, back to my house, I smelled dogs. I get it. I have dogs. I know what I got myself into. The rugs smell, the couches smell, the house smells of dogs. And that's just the way it is. If you go to sell your house, move your dogs out. It's an added cost. I understand that, but you have dogs, and dogs don't smell like humans. And some people are put off by that. So just understand that's how it is. Same thing with staging. If you have my couches have to be burned. I raised 3 kids on these couches. They've slobbered on it and probably thrown up on it and sneezed on it, and they've dropped food and liquid and all sorts of stuff on it, and then the dogs lay on it. So get that old furniture out. But it's $3,000. It's an investment in selling your house for over $1 million or $2 million, wherever you are. Don't cheap out, because it shows. And when you cheap out, or you don't do those repairs, or you don't repaint your house, or you overprice your house, it's going to sit on market for a whole long time, and you're going to be painfully disappointed, and you're going to blame the agent. Right? These are decisions that are in your hands, and there are recommendations that we tell you to do. I hate to drone on about this, but a lot of sellers think they know what they're doing, and a lot of times they make the wrong decision. I'm not going to tell you don't do that because of this, because it's not worth my pain and suffering to have to convince you into spending your money to get to stage a house. Everything clean. Guys, I'm telling you, don't do it yourself. I know it's going to cost $1,000 for somebody to come in, or a team of people to come in and clean your house. What's going to happen is you're not going to miss the screens. You're not going to miss the little trough. I have this little brush here, right? I always bring these to my listing presentations. I hand them over to them, and I'm like, start going through and fine detail everything. Go through the little tracks where your windows are and just clean that up. Wash it. Put some olive oil or oil on the tracks. Even though it's plastic, it'll make it run a lot smoother, right? But clean your house, clean everything, clean the oven. I tell my cleaners whenever they do a house to price it out for everything, and it comes back expensive. When you think about cleaning a house, it'd be like $200 or $100 to clean a house. When you do a deep clean, they clean every nook and cranny. They take off the screens, they wash the windows, they clean the bathtubs, they get rid of the mold, they get rid of everything. And that should be done after you move everything out. So there you go. So I can tell you straight up, when it's the agent's fault, is because you didn't listen to the agent's recommendations. See it all the time. And the agents aren't going to tell you, I told you so. You think, what would you say if you hired me and I said, I told you to list the house at $1.3 million. That's why it's not selling. You'd fire me, right? So understand you have control, but sometimes your decisions need to be on the best outcome. And yes, it's going to cost some money to sell your house. I apologize for that, but that's just the cost of doing business. All right, let's get back into the really exciting numbers. Santa Clara by far is just outweighing everybody in the Bay Area. I don't care how you look at it. We have almost 2,600 sales this year on 20 weeks. Guys, this is crazy. Now you can see the real numbers. This is what we're looking at right here, right? 2,600 sales, almost $6 billion sales. The next one up is Alameda, three at almost half of that. We're third. I don't know why San Francisco's coming back so hard, but San Francisco's doing really right now. If you invested in San Francisco last year, you would have made out like a bandit. Where your best buys are, it's always going to be Napa. Look at that, 68 days on market, 96% on the dollar, 96 cents to the dollar. You can buy a house right now, and it's pretty inexpensive. If you're looking for super cheap, look at Solano or San Benito. On the average, $800,000, or Solano, which is where the Jelly Belly factory is. There you go. It's a little bit of a distance, but it's affordable. And what affordable is, $600,000. 16 days to sell. Now, remember, these are only single family homes, not townhouses or condos. I'm going on a listing presentation today that talks about townhouses, so I have to redo all this for townhouses. Today we talked about Willow Glen home of the week, luxury home of the week, and I told you so. It's always your agent's fault. And the numbers for the Santa Clara County and the 12 Bay Area counties surrounding.